Got sand in your drone? What do you do? Hi folks, my name is Mark and you're watching Dalton Drone Discovery Zone. One of the things I do on my channel is every once in a while I'll try to pick up a drone, whether it's through Craigslist or eBay. One that's been through a mishap, and because I like a good challenge, let's see whether we can restore some of these drones to flight status. And I've been pretty successful so far in most of my drones. Now unfortunately, this one here, this Mavic 2 Pro, which is still a nice drone by today's standards. This landed in a sand dune. Fortunately, it was forced to land because of a low battery situation. Not salt water. We're not talking any kind of water damage here, just sand. What happens is with these drones landed a bunch of like a loose sand dune or sandy area, they'll whip up a lot of fine sand as a prop spin as they land, and it gets in the motors. And this one, I actually can't even spin that motor. It's seized up. This one here is seized up, and this one here is seized up. So they're full of sand. Now, the gimbal feels like it's mostly free. There may be a little sand in there. I might want to take this apart, maybe clean it out, just so I don't get any gimbal stuck errors. Maybe we can do that in this video. I'm not sure. Depends on how long it takes me to take this drone apart and clean out the motors. I'm not only going to clean the motors out, I want to take the drone apart because I see sand here in the hinges where the arms fold out. So let's take this drone completely apart, clean all the sand out of it, try to get the sand out of the motors, and we'll see if we can be successful in producing a drone that flies again. All right, let's get started. All right, we'll start with the back legs first. I want to get access to both sides of the motor, which means we have to take off the covers down here on the bottom. And we're going to disconnect the motor and have it dangle outward so we can see if we can blow this air out of there. You might say, well, what are you going to blow it out with? Compressed air? Yeah, but not the kind of compressed air from a can. It's not really sufficient. I actually have a small pancake compressor out in the garage. I think I paid like $160 for it. It's, I use it for tire inflation and bike tire inflation and car tire inflation and other things. So it's worthwhile having that if you have a garage and you're able to, purchase a compressor and can afford that and keep it in a garage. Maybe some people who live in an apartment, it just might be too noisy to be able to do that. So maybe you can find a friend. But you need that kind of compressed air, the volume and the pressure, to really get these sand grains out, because the canned compressed air is just not going to be sufficient to get the sand out. Let's see if we can pop off these back covers here. I believe they just stick on. They have clips, I think. Let's see if we can just use our plastic spludger and pop it off here. Oh, there we are. Don't see much by way of sand in there. But we're going to take these 3 screws out here, which hold the motor in. I'll try to call out these bit sizes here and what type of bit it is as I do it. Let's see. It's going to be a star bit. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to be a hex bit. Let's find which size it's going to be here. And this one is a 5/64. Working with the Imperial system here. We're going to loosen these 3 screws and we're going to take them out. One thing I forgot is my little organizer. I almost do that all the time. Let me go grab it here. I say little, but it's really not that little. We'll start putting our screws here. And the first bin. It would help to have magnetic bits. These bits are not magnetic on this tool here. You grab some tweezers here. I'm working with tweezers. I've got Phillips head screwdrivers, some small ones. I've got the hex bits and the Torx bit drivers. So those are tools that you really need when you're disassembling any kind of DJI drone. All right, this is out. So we're going to actually take a trip into the garage and get our compressor going here and see if we can't get this motor freed up. Here we are in my garage. You can see my pancake compressor is right over there. It's only a little 6-gallon pancake compressor. I have it set to 90 psi. And we're going to see if we can blow the sand out of these motors here. And I took the propeller mount off the top of the motor to make sure it's nice and clear so we can get forced air through there. Then we go grab the nozzle. We can fold these other legs up here. I'm not sure why I left them. Unfolded. Let's bring the motor down. I'm going to shoot some air from this side here. Oh, I see the sand grains coming out. And we're going to try to go from this side. Be careful not to drop the drone. It's a little bit awkward here. I'm going to try to hold the motor. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Now we're going to see if we're able to. Well, we got some movement there on the motor. All right, we're going to give it another shot of air. Yeah, I saw more sand come out. And we'll go from this side. You can see small flakes of sand come out. Down in there. Oh, look at that. It's moving pretty freely now. I still feel a little bit of scratchiness, so we'll give it another shot here. From that side. And I'm hoping this is sufficient to get all the sand out of here. We'll see. Well, that spins freely. So I think we're good with that one. We're going to put that together. I'm not going to show you me doing the other one because it's the same procedure, but I will show you me doing the front ones. They're a little bit different. So we'll come back and when I come back I'll be doing the front one for you. Okay, the back motors are completely clear now. They're nice and free, as you can see. I can spin them. So they should function. Let's fold them up here, get them out of the way. I did the second one the same way as I did the first one. Now let's take a look at these front motors. This one sounds gritty. There's definitely sand in there. That one's completely seized up. Let's fold that one up and we'll work on this one here. Now same deal, but with this one actually we have to remove 3 screws on the bottom. This is the antenna in here as well as the LED. As in the back one we had an LED but no antenna. Let's find our right size bit here. This is a hex bit. This one looks a little too big. Looks like that's the right size, and this one is a, if I can read it, this one's a 1.5. take these screws out. Let's see what we have underneath here. I guess one of my concerns is that if these motors were seized and they were seized for a long time, they were being powered up, then we could have a problem with the MOSFETs on the speed controller, but we'll see. Let's see here. Now let's just come off. Okay, I had to pause the video for a moment because I felt like there was something holding this on, and I did a little research, and indeed there is. There's actually a tiny little screw, a Phillips screwdriver here underneath the LED cover. So it's a good thing I didn't try to really force that. But we do have to try to pry that cover off. I'm going to try to do it without marring the plastic too much. I don't know. We'll see. So I need a small screwdriver. There it is. We can find it here. It's on the floor somewhere. Oh, there it is. I see it. And you can see, we can focus on that. That's 4 plastic clips there. So that needed to come out. Something to make note of. You don't want to force that. And right there, a little teeny tiny Phillips head screwdriver, or screw I should say. So let's get our screwdriver and get on it here. I'll take out a small one, and we'll take the little screw out of there. That really was a wipe my brow movement, because I was thinking, well, maybe it was clipped or glued in somehow or whatever, and I was going to force it, but I'm glad I didn't. So now we can pop right off here, and boy, you can see the sand there. Let's see, I have some glue there. There we go. And there's the antenna that's in there. So we're going to go out into the garage and just sort of blow that sand off. You can see it's actually stuck to the screws. Try to remove some of the glue that's here. All right, be right back, folks. All right, we've got the sand blown off of here. You know, I have to wonder whether this sand has some sort of metallic component to it, or whether it's metallic sand, because it's really sticking to these screws here, and it's really sticking to the inside the motor too. So there may be some magnetic properties, or at least metallic properties, of the sand that's causing it to stick to the magnets here, stick to the screws, which probably are magnetic too. Doesn't matter though, if you have 90 psi forced air blowing to it, it's going to blow it out. All right, let's get these 3 screws, these motor screws, out of here. That's why you got to use a small compressor that can force at least 90 psi of air into it. You don't remember what the CFM rating is, but it's the pressure of the air that's really, the forced air that's really more important. Well, as I said before, it's a 6-gallon pancake compressor. I think it's a, oh, I forget what it is. I got it from one of the local large home repair stores in the area here. Like I said, around 160 bucks or so. So not a super large expense. And oh, look at all the sand in there. Yeah, you can see that, or not. There's sand. So yeah, this poor drone really landed in it. All right, let's head out into the garage. Just to show you what I have here as far as the air compressor. It's just a 6-gallon Porter cable air compressor. I have it set to 90 psi. I can go up to 150 psi, but 90 psi is probably what you want to use. It's a nice safe amount of airflow. All right, let's get back on a tripod here. Okay, I've got the sand blown out of the two front motors the same way I did with the back one, and we'll just finish assembling these here. Alright, these motors are all nice and free now. Okay, at this point I want to digress a little bit and talk about other methods of cleaning these motors. I've heard some people say, oh, never ever get DJI motors wet. Well, it's been my experience that it really doesn't harm them. Just to give you an example here, my old Mavic Pro here spent about a month and a half up in a tree. Went through several rainstorms, including the remnants of a hurricane that came through here in northeastern Pennsylvania. And we were finally able to rescue. We couldn't even find the drone. This happened in August. Later on in September, the leaves began to fall. We finally were able to spot the drone about 80 foot up in a very large elm tree. And I had to hire a tree climber to get it down. Now, I did do a video on me getting the drone back and then taking it apart and cleaning it out to make sure there was no water inside. But there's not a speck of rust on these drone motors at all. I believe they're made out of aluminum and stainless steel. This drone works fine. I still fly it today every so often, just for old time's sake. So you can't harm these by immersing them in water. Now, of course, with this type of a drone, the motors you can't really take apart and take them off the arm completely. So yeah, and you can't dip the entire arm in water because it's got the LED in it, and the front arm has the antenna. So I would not do that. Not advocating that you do that. But in certain drones where you can remove these motors, dipping in, say, even distilled water would be what I would use, just to clean them out. It might have worked in this case to get the sand out if you could do that with these type of motors. But again, there's not much leads, not by way of wires, when you unscrew these motors to dip them in water. So that would be difficult to do. So I think forced air was probably the best bet for this. Another thing I've seen people talk about is using alcohol to clean these motors and actually dipping them in alcohol. And that may work. I don't see a problem with it, except that the motor windings have a sort of a coating, like a shellac type coating. And it may be shellac. It probably isn't. It's probably more of a rubberized compound. But I'd be a little concerned about alcohol dissolving or harming something within the motor. And you don't want to get it on the plastic. It could possibly damage certain plastics too. It's unlikely, but just be careful if you want to use alcohol. I would use distilled water as your first choice. Of course, alcohol evaporates pretty quickly, so it's got that going for it. But just be very careful when you're dealing with alcohol. And if you use distilled water and you have forced air, even a canned air might be enough to blow the water out and be fine. Especially if it's distilled water, it's not going to leave any compounds or any minerals behind. So just a quick note on other methods of cleaning. If you don't have access to say, an air compressor, That'd be your second and third best bet would be to use distilled water and maybe alcohol, but just use alcohol with caution. All right, back to the disassembly. I have a battery from my Mavic 2 Zoom we did a rebuild on a couple of videos back. I'll leave a link to that video also that you can take a look at it. That was a complete rebuild. It was a broken shell. Let's see if this thing even fires up. If we get the DJI sound, there's still little sand grains here, or sand grains here. I'm seeing in here. And if we get the DJI sound, that means the SCs, the speed controllers, are good. If we don't, then we'll have to decide what to do, what we want to do from there, because we'll have to replace those speed controllers if they're burned out. Let's cross our fingers and see what happens here. All right, 2 thumbs up. I think we're going to be good. Let's take this drone apart and clean it out. All right, we'll begin by taking the front mask off here. A couple of screws. I actually can hear the grinding of sand as I take the screw out. So I have a feeling this thing is loaded with sand, especially up front. Yeah, look at that. And that. And we're going to take this into the garage and just blow this stuff off and be right back. All right, since I'm looking at the bottom right here, why don't we just take this bottom off here. Once we have this all cleaned out, we'll go for a test flight. Bring you guys in on that too. And I know we have a connector here on the bottom. I believe it's for the lights. Here it is right here. Wow, look at the sand in there. Let's see that right there. All right, let's take it into the garage and we'll blow that off. If you can see that or not. Take these rubber grommets off here. I'm going to end up blowing them across the garage. I want to take the main board out here next, just to make sure there's no sand in underneath it. Seems like there might be. There's a lot of sand in this drone. to clean up all the sand off this bench when I'm done with this project here. Okay, this is the antenna wire. We'll take that one off. Take this other one off here. And we have a cable over here to pop off. Take that one off. Let's see, what screws do we have here? I don't think there's too many. Looks like I may be missing a screw here. That's interesting. Well, let's see. Got one up front here. And we got the one back here. These screws here, I believe, hold the fan assembly on the other side, so I don't think they have to come off. So let's just see if we can... Oh wait, I actually have a connector up here yet. That used to be popped off. So let's do that one. Okay. See if we can lift this board up here. Clear those cables. Oh, we got one down here yet. These are for the rear sensors. All right, let's pop that out. There we go. Yeah, not too much on this side as far as sand goes. A little bit here. Nothing in the fan, so that's good. Not too much in there. I do see a lot down here where the back hinges are. Oh, I do see actually a fair amount in there. Okay, let's take this into the garage. We're going to blow this off here. I did notice that there's some sand sort of trapped into the sticky portions of, you see that or not? On the underside of some of these foam, this foam tape here. I'm going to leave that there because it's really stuck on there, and it's trapped in there. It's not going to come loose. Same thing with the foam on this underside here too. It's trapped there, so it's not going to come loose. So there it can stay. I'm not sure I can get that out anyway. All right, let's take the drone in itself, and we're going to hit this with some compressed air here to get some of this sand out. There was a lot of sand here in this section here where the back leg hinges are. This will have to come out so we can clean it out. But some of the sand seems really wet, so I gotta wonder. I hope there's no evidence that this had any kind of water landing. I don't see any damage at all as far as any kind of oxidation or rust. So I do think it was probably just wet sand, but it really has stuck to everything here in the drone. Now I'm going to take these two screws out here so we can start taking the top off. Take that off there. Oh, we have the DJI glue here, so well, we know that nobody has taken this drone apart. So let's pick that out. Let's see here. They put this in here just to see whether people have actually taken the drone apart. If they know the glue's not there, then they know somebody's been monkeying with the drone. All right, let's take this out. We pick that out there. And we'll pop these pieces off. Oh, look at the drone and look at the sand in there. Jeez. Don't know how this got so caked with sand. That's amazing. found its way to every crevice of this drone. Look at that. Wow. All right. Back to the garage we go. Let's begin taking these screws off so that we can take the top off. Actually, there's still sand in that one. Even after hitting it with a compressor. These screws have to come out here. And let's see, there's two back here. I have to wonder if this drone actually sat in the sand for a while. Maybe it got rained on. I don't know. See, it seems kind of, the sand seems kind of wettish on the inside here. Again, this was purchased from eBay as a project for me to tackle. I thought it might be a good project to tackle a sand clogged drone and maybe bring you guys along with the project and see if we can get this thing back to working condition. I would steer clear of any drone that ended up in the water, particularly if it's ocean water, salt water. It's really very difficult to recover a drone that's been in the salt water, even for a little bit. If you can get to it right away and clean it completely out of all the salt water right away, there might be a chance, but it starts to eat. That salt water just starts to corrode right away. So I don't even think I would purchase a drone that had a water landing, salt or fresh water, to try to rejuvenate it, because it's pretty much a goner. I think that's all we have by way of screws. We have 4 on the top, 2 in the back, and these 2 on the front. Let's see if we can start to pop this off here. I'm going to go from the front. Make sure there are no more screws here. Oop. Let's see where I want to start here. Let's see. Kind of want to go from the front. I bet you we're gonna find a bunch of sand inside this drawing here on the top portion. Again, we just have these clips here. We just have to disengage them. There, we're getting it. You can see sand dribbling out here as I unclip these. And we'll be careful of the obstacle sensors back here. You don't want to break those as we try to get this top off here. There we go. And wow, look at that. There is some serious sand there. Okay. Into the garage we go. I'll tell you folks, there's so much sand in this drone, and it's kind of a wettish sand. It's a sticky sand, so I'm not really at all confident that this drone will be fully workable with no errors when we get all done, but we'll see. We just have to plug on and hope. Let's take the GPS unit out here. Clear it of any sand. Disconnect the front sensors first. This is actually stuck down with some double stick type foamy tape. Let's see if we can pull that up. There it is. Pull that off. I will say these Mavic 2 series drones are pretty easy to work on, actually. They're not that difficult to disassemble. I guess I really don't have to take these front sensors out, but I'm going to anyway, just to get them out of the way. Maybe clear any sand out. We don't see any there. Yep, that's all right. And we'll disconnect this cable here. One thing I have to be careful is when I'm reassembling this, that I clear all the sand out from the connectors. I don't want to get any, even a grain of sand in there. I'm trying to put the connector back up, but the sand there, it's not going to be able to connect up. You can actually see sand underneath this sticky thing here too. Let's see if we can pull that off. Yikes. Jeez, look at it. Look at all that. Wow. I'm not going to be able to get that sand off. Unbelievable. And this drone took a sand bath and soaked for a while. All right. Like most of that's off. That's the wrong screw. Put that back in there. It holds the IMU in. We want to take that screw off. And this one here. Alright, we'll take this into the garage first and clean it off. I've been using brushes also. Soft, I have a soft old toothbrush in there. And this is the soft brush too. As well as the compressed air. Boy, I tell you what, even the sticky undersides here of some of these cables, where it's supposed to stick to the drone, are caked with sand. The ribbon cables here now. I'm not going to do anything about that. That sand is captured there. If I try to scrape it off, I'll probably damage the cable. A lot of these cables are not available to purchase separately, so I'm going to leave that sand where it is. For the IMU, that was, I had to blow and clean out that with brushes and forced air. But we got it all clean. I'm going to put this insulating thing back on here. Got most of the sand off of that. Let's see, which way did it go? Was it like that? No, I think it was like that. Which way did that go? Oh boy. Oh no, it was on there like that. Okay. So let's put that back there. Just kind of lay it on there. Hopefully it stays put. Got most of the sand off of it. Still some on it. Alright, I'm going to get the sand out of these hinges here. That's our next project. You know what I want to do? Actually, I want to take the obstacle sensors out, though. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm really taking this drone down to the bare essentials. Okay, put that out, and we have sand down here and down in there. Unbelievable. All right, let's go into the garage and clean that off. Folks, we're going to take a break, charge the batteries up in the camera, maybe get some dinner. We'll be back in a bit.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, we are back. I'm going to take this leg off here first. I'm not going to desolder it here. We're going to see if we can just clean this out just by taking the hinge out. And taking the leg out, just sort of compressed, using compressed air, we'll just blow it out. Let's see. Now I need to push this out from here. This will probably snap a little bit here as I take it off. it's under load. Oh, look at the sand in there. There we go. And there's a washer here. There it is. Fell out. Set that aside. All right, we'll take this into the garage and we'll hit this with the compressed air, including the hinge. All right. Gosh, I got so much sand in this, and floating around here. I even got some in my mouth. All right. Now I've got to preload this to be able to get it back in. I'll show you what we do with that. See if we can turn it. About like that. Carefully set it down. Put our washer back in here. You turn it about a quarter of a turn. Let's get our washer back in place here. Actually, let's fold this leg up here first. Now the trick is to get this in here. Actually, we have to bring this leg down out of the way. Let's see if we can push this in here without having it snap back on us. Try to get this in place here. do the same thing with this one. We got to take this out. All right, it's in. There's still a little bit of sand there. Yikes. Take care of that. All right, those are cleaned out for the most part. Put that back in there. Now the back legs here, I kind of don't want to have to desolder these, but I might. Let's see how this comes out here first. I'm going to take this one off first. There's like one screw right there. Looks like it's going to be a star bit. It's got some sand in it. See if we can find the right bit here for it. Dip into this set here. Shift these around here. I think that's our size right there. Take this screw out. And let's see, let's drop this in over here. Now we're going to have to try to pry this, this leg off here. Let's see if we can do it. Boy, I think that sand is really clogging it up there. Let's see here. This is a large screwdriver here. I don't want to mark this up too much. All right. Oh, look at that sand there. Yeesh. Oh boy. All right. I think we're going to have to desolder this. Wow. Let's see. Well, let's go into the garage and we'll see if we can. There's actually sand inside there too. You know what? I'm gonna desolder this. Let's take this glue off here. And this glue here. Now we'll get the soldering iron fired up. Alright, we're going to set the soldering iron to 750. Put a little bit of flux on the tip here. And here we go. Get the LED leads off here. Now we can get this out of here. And clean it properly. Look at that. Look at the sand there. There's some inside there, but unfortunately it can't get down in there. It's amazing how all the sand got into nooks and crannies. All right, off to the garage we go. So what I ended up doing here was taking the motor off and the LED cover off. Of course, we got to take the motor off, and just blowing the sand out, because what happened when I blew the sand out from this side, ended up in the motor again. So I had to take these out. So once this is all, actually this could be pulled out if you wanted to. This could be pulled completely out too, but we're not going to do that. So I believe I've got the sand out from inside the arm here. Looks pretty clear. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the motor back together here. Boy, this is turning into quite a chore. I had no idea there was this much sand inside this room. We're going to get the lion's share of it out when we're all done here. Maybe I'm being a little too thorough here, but I don't want the sand jammed up here in the hinge area, and I don't want it to migrate in any way back down to the motor and cause a seized motor again. There was actually a fair amount of sand inside this arm, so I'm taking these extra measures here to get rid of it, as much of it as possible. Okay, we're going to put this back on. There we go. Set that aside, mostly sand free. Now I want to remove this hinge portion here because that's got sand in it, so we're going to set this aside here. That's not a cover. Throw a flux. Let's remove this hinge portion here and remove the sand from it. Just going to set these screws aside right here. We're going to put this right back in when we're done. All right, this piece should come out. So it's a little more difficult to getting this out than it should be. And you can see the sand there. There it is. Let's go ahead and clean this off in the garage. Along with this, we'll remove all the sand that's down in here. Alright, this is a little tougher than I thought it would be because DJI uses a lubricant on this hinge part here that the sand just loves to stick to. So I think we got it off pretty much, or got most of it off anyway. See if we can put this back in here. Finagled in. Easier said than done. There we are. Now we're going in. Not all the way in yet. Now it is. All right, let's get our screws back in. We got our soldering iron turned on here, and we can fit this back in. Push our leg back in. Okay, that's all the way in. Put that screw back in there. Get our LED leads soldered in here. And get our motor leads here. Still find little flakes of sand here and there. A little extra solder on here might be helpful to melt the solder that's on there. All right, we're done with the legs. We're done with the soldering. You can see what I've done. I've actually taken the legs off, cleaned them out, resoldered everything, put a little bit of glue on here to secure these LED leads. Let's get this drone back together here. It's getting late and I'm getting a little bit tired. We got most of the sand out. Let's see, what do we start with next? Well, I guess we can put the GPS module in. Put that in here. I think that's going to go like... No, actually it goes like this. It's going to sit in there, just like that. Let's put the screws in there. There's still sort of grains of sand here and there that I got to be careful. I don't want to get them into the where the ribbon connectors connect. Okay, make sure there's no sand there. Let's get this snap back on. Okay. Seat it in there. We can put the front obstacle sensors on here. I'll tell you what, folks, I had no idea there was going to be so much sand inside this drone. I don't think I would have bought it. A lot of work. I thought, well, just going to clear some sand out of the motors. Maybe a little bit here and there inside, but no, this was like it was buried in sand. Okay, where'd that screw go? It's anyway, let's just cross our fingers and hope we don't have any errors when we go to fire this up. Needless to say, we'll be doing a separate video cleaning out the gimbal. Which I kind of have no doubt there'll be sand in that too. See if we can get this down there. Clipped in properly.
A few minutes later.
Alright, sorry folks, the battery died there. As I was saying here, I would, if I knew there was this much sand in here that we had to deal with, I don't think I would have bought this drone. But, anyway, here we are. Let's get this connected up. What else? So we got this little piece here. This is going to go on. Like so. Okay, that's on. And we got the rear obstacle avoidance sensors here. Let's get these on. Make sure we have the wires cleared out of the way here so we're not blocking the sensors from going down. There we are. There are screws in here. Let's hope I don't forget anything, folks. I'm getting kind of tired here. This has this cover that goes on here. Like that. Remember to put that on. Put the main board in here next. Go ahead and do that. And we have, this needs to come up here. The antenna lead, just like that. We have to get the connector for the obstacle avoidance up here, just like that. Okay. Okay, looks like it's in. Let's put our screws in here. Let's see, this popped off here. And we have the two screws here. That one wasn't there for whatever reason. Actually, probably could find one that fit. Let's go ahead and get this snapped in here. This is the obstacle avoidance for the rear. That's in. I think this goes up to the GPS. That's in. This one goes to the ESC board. That's in. That's for the gimbal. Do I have a little screw that I can put in there? Look at my little bag of screws here. I don't know that I do. Maybe DJI left that off manufacturing for whatever reason. Maybe it was a mistake. It looked like nobody had taken this thing apart, given that the glue was still on there. I have something here I might be able to put on. Let's see. Got a whole bunch of different screws for DJI products. And I'm thinking that this one here might work. Let's see, it's a little long. Yeah, it worked. Alrighty. If we can make improvements to the original, we will. There we go. Let's get these antenna leads clipped back on here. That's on. That's on. All right. Everything's connected up here. We can put the bottom on. Connect up the downward lights here. And the sensors. Okay, that's on. And let's see, the screws that hold that will be over here. let's see here. We got a couple of screws that go in the front here. The nose cone on. And let's see, we have 2 screws for that. You know what? I'm really curious to see if this thing works. Gimbal and all. I might just want to put the gimbal on. See what happens. Let's do it. I don't really see any sand here. Yeah, I do hear some scratchiness there. I do believe we're going to have an issue with a stuck gimbal, but let's see if this thing works. We can delve into the gimbal later. Right now, I'm just going to put everything back together. Yeah, this definitely feels like there's sand in there. Unbelievable. Alright, let's short her up and see what happens. Fan's got a little bit of a buzz to it. As I suspected, we're going to have a problem with the gimbal. Well, now it seems to be working. Alright, well the gimbal looks like it's working now. Huh. Let's put a phone in here. We'll see if we get this connected up and we'll see what it looks like. Oops. Let's bring up the app here. And we'll get connected up. Let's see, how do you get the link? I just hold this in and we'll see what happens. I forget where the link button is on these. Is it down here? The link button. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see if we can link this up and we'll see what we get What kind of readout we get? Where is our... Need to press this button here. Yeah, connected. No, confirm that. Oh my goodness, folks, this is unfreaking believable. We actually have video here. Look at that. Even though we have a vision sensor error, I'm not surprised. Forward left vision sensor error. Okay, we can replace that. Aircraft requires update. Download update from DJI Go homepage. Okay. Let's just start update. Go ahead and do it. That's unbelievable. This thing actually works. I'm shocked. Can we spin the motors up? Actually, it won't when it's upgrading. Let's upgrade this first. I'm bringing you back when it's done upgraded. Update complete. We're still getting a forward left vision sensor error. No problem, we can fix that. So we got a compass error. Take care of that. Let's see if we can fire up these motors though. I'm really curious. Look at that. Wow. Unbelievable. This thing actually works. You see the gimbal. I am getting a gimbal motor overload on occasion. There is sand in this gimbal, so we will be working on this. But right now it's working. It's functioning. Doing what it should. We're going to replace that vision sensor, front one. And we should be good. Maybe we'll try calibrating those vision sensors first. You can actually see whether they're functioning or not by going on to the DJI app on the computer, and you see whether you have video or not out of that sensor. The left sensor says it's non-functioning. Let's give this guy a little bit of a shakedown here. I'm not going to fly it too far for too long. I still want to take that gimbal assembly apart and get some of the sand out of it. Now, off camera, I did take the little sides off here, little protective caps off on both sides here for the, I guess you call this the pitch motor here. And did blow some of the sand out. There was the hinge on the one side and the motor on the other. And there was sand in there, so I do think there's sand here in the roll motor. It's pretty clear. I don't feel it really scratching, but every so often it'll just sort of stick. Every once in a great while. So we'll do that in a separate video. So that we'll just give it a quick fly, a quick test here. We'll see how it does. All right, it says IMU initializing. Oh, here we go. We're ready to go. Let's wait till we get some satellites here. Wow. Well, these Mavic 2s do get their GPS lock very quickly. I've already got 13 satellites. And it says we're ready to go. Let's start recording. We're going to go 4K 30. Start that. Okay, let's take off and we'll take her for a flight. Here we go. Let it hover for a bit. Now it's a windy day today. Bring it down here a little bit. Give it, put it through its paces here. You can see the obstacle avoidance is working. Going to spin it around. Have it face us. Let's try to go forward here and see what happens. Bring it down a little bit. And we're going to stop right there. That's obstacle avoidance working well there. Alright, let's take it up for a spin here. Here we go. Seems pretty solid so far. I don't want to go too far until we make sure everything's okay with it. Everything on the app is coming up just fine, so there's no errors. As you saw, once I replaced that defective front obstacle avoidance camera with a new assembly, or I should say a used assembly I bought from eBay. I think that cost around $45, plus a couple dollars in shipping, so it wasn't too bad. I did calibrate the sensors using the System 2. Let's back it up a little bit here. On the computer, and it calibrated just fine. Alright, where should we go here? I want to bring it up in altitude. Let's lower the gimbal a little bit. The gimbal seems a little slow when lowering, but that's just an adjustment. Actually, I'm going to raise it up a little bit. That was too much. And we'll head over toward, not over that way. I want to head over this way. It's up about 124 feet. Let's bring it up a little higher. And we head in that direction there. We'll raise it up a little higher. Head in toward town there a little bit. There's a park over here. We'll head toward. Lower the gimbal a little bit. Bring it up a little higher. And there's the park. Too many people down there today. It's a bit of a hot day. It's not that bad. We had storms came through here last night and cooled it off slightly. The humidity's a lot lower today, so and it feels like it's more comfortable. Let's lower the camera so we can get a look at the park and the tennis courts. I wanted to go over to do. There's an abandoned place. I'm not going to give too much away. The camera may be a little tilted. I'm not sure. Might have to with... No, actually it's not. I just have the phone a little tilted, I think. Now let's go over, see how far we can get here. We still have a strong signal, so I'm going to head over towards the car dealership. And there it is there. Can we do... I forget how to zoom. We're recording now. I forget how to zoom on these old Mavic 2s. So let's just spin it around this way. The sun just went behind a cloud. That makes it easier for me to see the phone too. I'm having difficulty seeing my iPhone. The typical iPhone problem of it turning dark when you're in the sun. It's happening to me now. Spin it around this way. Let's see, where do we want to go? Head back toward the soccer field. Head this way. Tell you what, let's hold it right there and we'll switch it into sport mode. Obstacle avoidance is unavailable. That's fine. Now we're in sport mode. This baby's hauling butt now. We're in this field over here. Let's bring it back toward us. Turn it that way a little bit. And I hear it right overhead. Alright, let's halt it right there. I hear it, but I can't see it. I'm looking directly into the sun. Let me switch it back into GPS mode. And we'll look down. Again, it is a breezy day today. The wind's really kicking up a little bit. There we are. I can see we're at 267 feet. I can hear the drone. That's right above us. I can see it now. Let's bring it down. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to look over here in this field. There's a lot of deer around here. I've actually taken video of deer in this field in the past, years ago, when I first began doing YouTube videos. Let's bring up the camera a little bit. And we'll head over to this field here. There's a guy cutting the lawn there. Mark, let's come down here. Let's get him on video. We're going to bring it down. I don't like doing those sudden yaw movements, but we're not trying to make a cinematic video here. Let's bring it down. I can't see the drone, but it's, I want to move it over a little bit this way. I see it. Make sure we're not near any. And there he is there. He's not going to hear me, I know that, because of the noise of the... Let's bring him down a little bit here. Now let's just follow him. Hey there, buddy. We'll turn around, go that way. I'm probably just scared the bejeebus out of him because he just turned around and I'm sure saw the drone. Where is he at? I think he's probably, let's probably raise it up a little bit. We're only at 23 feet. Now we'll lower it. There he is. We're at 40 feet. He's going to turn around here. So we'll just turn around with him. Well, he's actually going pretty quickly. There he is. Alright. Enough of terrorizing the local landscaper. Let's get up here. I'm going to raise the gimbal up a little bit here. And we're going to pivot around. We have 60% on the battery, so we're still really good there. Let's go over into this field here, see if we can capture any deer. We're up at 89 feet. I'll bring it down a little bit. I'm not going to be able to see too much. Okay, now we're at 55 feet. Gotta watch for any trees. Any deer? Spinning around a little bit here. Stay away from those tall trees because we're only at 44 feet. I want to raise it up a little bit. The video feed's getting a little choppy, so let's bring it up a little bit. A little higher. Alright, we'll bring it on back here. My phone just dinged at me, so I'm wondering if the recording stopped on it. It might have, maybe due to overheating. And there's our drone. Let's bring it in here. I'm really pleased that this thing works so well. I'll tell you, it was a lot of work to get rid of all that sand that I didn't expect to be inside the drone. Tell you what, let's just test the return to home. I don't normally do that. I don't normally use it. But I want to see how it works and how accurate it is. Bring it out back over here. I'm going to see if we're still recording on the phone. I don't think we are. It looks like we are. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we are. We're going to do a return to home.
Go home.
Here it comes. Keep an eye on it here and see where we end up. Alright. There, it's coming just about over us.
Landing.
Down. It's going to pivot. Face the direction it took off in. See if that actually can hit the mat. So, by the way, I bought this mat on Amazon. I'm going to leave a link to it down in the item description. The video description. Here it comes. Let's see if it's going to make it. It's going to make it. We're not, so we're going to stop that right there. Yeah, just a few feet off. I'm going to bring it over a little bit. I'm going to try to bring it down. It's a windy day, so we'll see what we can do. Start over a little bit. Come on down. We'll mow a little grass, but there it is, folks. Alright, folks, that's going to do it for this video. I'm really pleased by the way this turned out, that it actually is working so well. Actually, I'm shocked that it's actually working so well. I might make another video on disassembling the gimbal, just to make sure there's no sand in there. I did, like I said, I did clean some of the sand out on the pitch motor and on the hinge on the other side by taking the covering off, and there definitely was sand in there. So we were able to get that sand out, but I do think there's probably some sand in the roll motor. So we may do that, and I'll put up a video. If I do, I'll put up a video later on about that. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it. If you did get value out of it, hit the thumbs up on it and subscribe to the channel. There'll be other videos I'll be posting on explorations and drone repairs. Those other drones I'll be looking to repair. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification too. That way you'll know when I upload that new video. Folks, take care. We'll see you in the next one.